Hi everybody, my name's Dan Young. I'm an automotive instructor at MATC. Welcome to another Pro Tips video. Today we're going to be talking about tires on your car and things that you can do as a driver to make sure that your car is safe for the road. The first thing that we would want to look at is, are our tires properly inflated? Now, what I would do if it was my car, every now and then, let's say maybe every other time I get gas, I'm just going to do a once around the vehicle. If you think about it, usually when we approach our vehicle, we go from the driver's side, and we might not always check things on the passenger side. So anyway, let's take a walk around this 4x4 that we've got here, and we're just looking at the tires just to make sure that for the most part that they all look the same, okay? Usually we're only going to get one flat at a time, so one tire is going to look different from the others. Then we get to the right front tire, and oh, I'm noticing that this one looks a lot different than the others. So we can see here, the sidewall is bent outwards kind of, and the rim, the bottom of the wheel, is actually quite a bit lower to the ground than the other three tires are. So that's telling me that we've got a problem. This tire is low on air. So if we're already at the gas station, most gas stations have an air compressor that we can use. Some of them are actually free. We could pull up to the air pump and inflate our tires, but how do we know how much air goes in our tires? Well, every single vehicle on the roads has, in the driver's side door jamb, there's what we call a tire placard, which is basically a sticker that tells us the tire size and also how much pressure goes into each tire. So here we've got front tires, and it says 35 pounds per square inch right there. So that's how we know how much to inflate the tires to. Go ahead and grab our air chuck here. It's got a gauge on it. When we press the button, air comes out of it. We got to get over by the tire here. We have to remove the valve cap, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty when we put it back on. And then we're going to go ahead and put the nozzle end of this air chuck. We've got to push it with a little bit of force. Make sure that it's straight on the valve stem, and then we're just going to push the button, and we are filling our tire. And we'll notice this corner of the vehicle is going to start to rise as the air goes into the tire. That ride height is actually increasing because the tire was so flat. Couple things to think about. If we notice this at home and our tire was flat, we would not want to drive on it. A tire that was this flat, if we drove as little as 1 or 2 miles, we could actually wreck the tire. When the tire's flat, we're riding on the sidewall instead of the tread, and all of the strength in the tire is built into the tread, which is the flat part here. The sidewall doesn't really have that much strength in it, but if you think about it, every tire holds the weight of the vehicle up. So when we drive and the tire's low and we're riding on the sidewall, which is the weak part, that will ruin the tire quickly. Actually, inside of the tire, the rubber will deteriorate and it'll break away. And then we really risk having a blowout, especially at freeway speeds when the tires are running hotter because of all the friction. So let me see where we stopped here. Right about 35 PSI. So that's where we want to be. The other thing to think about, if we had a flat tire, the air doesn't just evaporate, okay? The air doesn't just like vanish. It had to have leaked out, all right? Unless we only lost a few pounds per square inch, maybe like 5 or so when it gets cold out. That's pretty normal when the weather changes because colder air is more dense, so it takes up less room inside of the tire, so our tire pressure actually decreases. Then it would be okay to bump it up maybe 5 PSI or so. But if we had an actual flat tire like this one was, we were down below 10 PSI. It might not have looked like it was completely flat, but it was. That air, it couldn't have just reduced by that much in pressure. There has to be a leak if our tire is that low. So we can fill it up, but the next place we should go is probably to a shop to get it checked out, because if we just had a nail in the tire or something, that could be fixed if it was in the middle of the tread. As far as that goes, if we have a nail in the outer part of the tread, That is not repairable. Most shops legally cannot fix that. It's a liability because there's not as much structure in the edge of the tire to hold a repair in. But if we get something in the middle of the tread, it can be fixed and we can save this tire. The next thing that I would want to look at after we made sure that all of our tires have good pressure is we want to look at the tread wear on the tire as well. So I've got a couple examples over here. These are bad tires, but we're going to show you what to look for. Because just because, if a tire's got air in it, that's great. But if a tire doesn't have tread on it, it's not going to do us any good. It's not going to be safe to drive on. The tires not only are used for traction on the vehicle, but they also do all of the handling and all of the steering and stopping as well. If you think about it, the tire is the only part of your vehicle that actually touches the road. So when we talk about how much tread is on a tire, we're talking about the blocks of tread here and how much life is left on them. Once these blocks of tread are gone, then this tire is not going to make any traction anymore. So, what we would do in an automotive shop is we would use a tread depth gauge like this. And the way this works, we've got red, yellow, and green markings in here. And there's also numbers that measure in millimeters as well as 30/2 of an inch, okay? So this tire here, like we said, it's pretty bad. I'm going to go ahead and measure it, and I'm basically into the red here. So I've got about 2/32 of an inch of tread left on this tire. It's bad. It needs to be replaced. These tread depth gauges can probably be purchased for $1 or $2 at any automotive parts store. But if we didn't have a tread depth gauge, we could do the old penny test. So this test goes way back. But if we took a penny and stuck it in the tread, if we can see the top of Abe Lincoln's head, this tire needs to be replaced now. If we can even see really his hair at all, it's pretty much time to replace the tire, okay? If we went and stuck it put the penny in the tire on our 4x4 truck over here, there we can see it's covering his, well, at least up to his eyeballs anyway. So this tire's still got some life on it. But yeah, if we can see all of Abe's head, that tire is no good. The other thing that we can look at, even if we don't have a penny handy, if we look at any tire, we've got built into the tread what are called wear bars. So if you look in these channels on the tread here, there's bars in the rubber. We can see them all maybe every 6 inches or so throughout the tire. So here, these are called the wear bars. And basically what that means is when the tread blocks are even with these wear bars, there's only 3/32 of tread left on our tire. And that means that it is time to replace this tire now. So even if we're just doing a quick visual inspection while we're walking around the car at a gas station, if we notice that the tread blocks are getting close to the wear bars on any of the tires on our car, well, it's time to replace them. Other things that we might want to look for is uneven tread wear. For example, on this tire, if we notice, we can still see the individual blocks of tread, although this tire is definitely worn out. We can still at least see the individual blocks of tread on the my left side here, but on the right, it's completely smooth, okay? So that, if we get a tire that's looking like that, where we have it less tread on one side than the other, that indicates that there's most likely something wrong with the vehicle and we need to get it checked out by a shop. So either we've got an incorrect alignment angle or there's a suspension or steering component or wheel bearing that is worn out. But either way, if we notice an uneven tread wear pattern like that, then it's time to get our vehicle checked out at a shop. The last thing we'd want to do is put new tires on a car and then have them wear out unevenly. Here's another couple things that we could look out for while we're driving. If we're driving our car and we notice a vibration, maybe the steering wheel starts shaking as we're driving, especially if it if it depends on the speed, like let's say we're driving along and then from 50 miles an hour up to 65, the wheel shakes, and once we go beyond 65 miles an hour, it smooths out. That's almost always going to be a tire balance issue. So if we drive our vehicle around with unbalanced tires for too long, that could also cause the tires to wear unevenly and fail prematurely, which costs us more money. The longer a set of tires lasts us, that's money in the bank. The other thing to look out for would be if we're driving our car and the vehicle tends to pull one way or another. When we're trying to drive straight, maybe we've got to kind of hold a little bit of pressure on the steering wheel, either to the left or the right. A lot of times, that's caused by a bad tire. So again, that's something where we would have to take it to a shop and have them check it out. But it's better always to get that addressed sooner rather than later. All right, well, there you have it, everybody. Hopefully we all learned something today about tire safety and how to make sure that we've got good pressure and tread life on our tires. If you would like more information on MATC Automotive programs, you can visit matc.edu/auto. Thanks for watching another Pro Tips video. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.